has expired. This topic is a big, complex, and important one, and I look forward to following up with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. Senator Tillis, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations to all three of you for your nominations. Mr. Sherman, you get a pass on this question, but because I think there are families and friends watching, I'd like to pronounce your last names right. Could you please pronounce your name? Is it Vasirani?
Vazirani.
Vazira. And Miss Ritchie?
Ritchie.
Okay. Thank you. I asked my staff. She said it had been pronounced a couple of different ways, so I just want to make sure I got it right. Ms. Ritchie, I am very focused on military housing. I've made several visits to Fort Bragg and Camp Lejeune. I've done town halls, and we still have a problem there. We've made some progress with the Bill of Rights, but I think that there's a lot more work to do. So can you give me an idea of how this will be whether or not this will be a priority for you, and some vision as to how we can get to an improved state of military housing? It's a real problem. I think it has a number of effects on readiness, health, a number of other issues. Do you share that concern? Can you give me an idea of some of the things you may make a priority?
Yes, Senator. I absolutely share your concern. Soldiers should have safe housing, safe and healthy housing. And during my time at Fort Hood, I did listen to some of the concerns of the service members living there and some of the conditions that they faced. And I understand that the Army is going through a revised, so to speak, way of looking at their partnerships with privatized housing and ensuring that contractors are held accountable. And if confirmed, that would be a priority of mine. That would be one of the priorities, is to make sure that our procurement processes are being enforced appropriately and that our partners are being held accountable.
I also think that we have to have a focus on what has occurred as a result of some of this unacceptable housing. I went into a house at Fort Bragg that had a dehumidifier in the hallway that was collecting so much water that the tank, they couldn't use the tank. They literally had to run a hose to the bathtub in the hallway bathroom just to be able to keep it running nonstop 24/7. So another area that I think we have to look at is how are we proactively helping the families that have documented medical conditions. I met with a number of military spouses who had doctors' advice to get out of these homes because the conditions in the homes were clearly causing health problems for them and their children. So that's another area I look forward to working with you after you're confirmed. I guess one other question I have for you has to do with military justice. What do you perceive would be an appropriate role for the Army General Counsel if Congress enacts Secretary Austin's proposal to establish the Office of Special Victims Prosecutions in the Secretariat of the Military Department?
Senator, if confirmed, the Army General Counsel as a chief legal officer would have the obligation to ensure swift implementation, to provide accurate and timely legal advice, and to assist in working out the legal nuances attendant to that change.
Mr. Sherman, I've got more in common with you than I do with most of the people in the Senate with my 29 years in information technology. I also want to echo what Senator Blumenthal said on suicide prevention, removing the stigma. That's very important. I also think that we have to act in the way that we talk. We all talk about removing the stigma, and then we'll go behind closed doors and whisper about a problem that we may have with a family member or a friend. So it really begins with our behavior, too, to help remove the stigma. But, Mr. Sherman, I feel like the Department of Defense is replete with opportunities to consolidate, to collapse some silos, and to really go through an enterprise transformation for the use of information technology, duplicative systems across service lines. I think that there's an opportunity to build cross-functional platforms and then only have, on an exception basis, the silos that we have today. Do you agree with that?
I do, Senator.
And do you think that the culture of the DOD can be changed to actually accept that? It's the same sort of problem I saw in large, diverse corporations, but what would you do to actually change the culture so that we could make meaningful progress and take a lot of cost out of our IT operations in the DOD?
Senator, I would build upon, if confirmed, successes that have been underway. For example, with the 26 defense agencies and field activities, what's called the Fourth Estate Network Optimization, to reduce all those inefficiencies there, scale that to the department level, build on what the military departments are doing. For example, the Department of Navy's Project Cattle Drive, they call it, to get rid of duplicative systems and drive greater efficiencies. I would, if confirmed, build on those successes, sir, and a lot of this would be built on data to make sure we know what's out there and to make that implemented, sir.
Well, this is something that is personally very important to me. It's very interesting to me. It keeps my skills up to date. So I'd like to get your commitment that I've received from your counterpart in Veterans Affairs to get together, take a look at your program office, the sort of structure that's going to be necessary to actually execute that. And it's also very important to me because I think there's a lot of integration opportunities, particularly with respect to the Cerner platform for the electronic health record, so that we can actually get to a point to where we may be able to predict a transitioning service member being at risk before they even know they are. I do believe that that's within our reach if we integrate and capture the right kind of data through the life cycle of a soldier. Thank you, Mr. Chair.